Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to talk about the system of education. Basically, this talk is inspired by the lecture of Sheikh Imran Hussain, but I have added points from my side. So let us see what is there. First of all, according to the Holy Prophet, the training of the child or the upbringing of the child should be divided into three phases, each phase of 7 years. Now, in the first 7 years, love should be cultivated, the child should be given love. Then his memory bank should be sharpened, or his memory bank should be built up. And in that memory bank, beautiful things should be added, like you see verses from the Holy Quran, poetry, good words, good quotations. Then his imagination should be allowed to grow. Then he should be made to observe things around him. There is love for nature should be cultivated in him. So in the first 7 years, undivided love should be given to the child so that emotionally he is established, emotionally he is mature in the sense that he is not now divided, or he doesn't have a memory bank in which love has been withheld from him. So that kind of a memory bank should be there where he finds that he had loving parents who looked after him or her and gave him full attention. Then next 7 years should be devoted to the training of the child. His character should be built. His values should be instilled in him. His emotions should be developed. He should be made to observe things, and he should be trained very well. And after that, the next 7 years, friendship should be the status given to the child, and he should be like a wazir, like a minister to his father or parents, and counsel should be taken from him. And that is how you see you train the child so that he becomes a person who is able to enter into the practical life with well developed character qualities. Now, the Dajjal is the name of a system which does not allow an individual to realize his full potential. So the Dajjal has given a one-track policy to people. That is why he's called one-eyed. First of all, he has warped the sense of freedom. The concept of freedom has been twisted, and complete liberty is equivalent to, considered equivalent to liberation. And women liberation, long before women were even given the right to vote, Islam, 1100 centuries back, or more than that even, gave women equal rights, right to property, right to expression. All those things were there. We have the example of Lady Khatija, the wife of the Prophet, how she was running her business and how wealthy she was. Whereas in the West, this concept came somewhere in the early part of the 20th century. But Western concept of women liberation means that you can use women to advertise their sex, and that they should be used, you see, to entice, seduce men, and that their appearance is the sole thing which matters. So these things are not considered proper in the Islamic world. By women liberation, we do mean that the woman should enjoy all opportunities. She should be educated. She should seek knowledge. She should work in besides men. But women liberation does not mean that one should flout all laws of decency and one should become a kind of a sex symbol. So that concept has been warped. Concept of freedom again has been warped and twisted. That one can function the way one wants to. No, that is not the case. There are rules and regulations everywhere. This universe is being run on and rules and regulations. The planets are moving in an orderly fashion. No one can escape, you see, the basic parameters and of existence. Otherwise, there will be chaos. But the concept of freedom has been twisted, and the women's liberation concept has been twisted, given a new perspective. And knowledge again has been restricted to only the scientific fields and restricted to what one perceives through the senses. The intuitive side of knowledge has been ignored, whereas intuitive side of knowledge is as important as the experience that you gain through your senses or the empirical way of looking at things. And Allama Iqbal, in his lectures on the reconstruction of Islam in modern days, talked about epistemology, and epistemology is that branch of knowledge which studies knowledge. And in that, he mentioned that you can also have access to reality through intuition. It is not necessary that you have access to reality only through empirical knowledge. So, by divorcing or driving a wedge between the empirical and the intuitive, again, you see, people have been divorced from the truth. Knowledge in its empirical form is equally honorable, but then the fusion between the two has to be taken into consideration. Otherwise, as they say, that it is good to have the strength of a giant, but it is not good to use it like a giant. Whatever your achievements be in the scientific field, they must be augmented with moral and ethical values which come from religion. And religion again has been distorted and made redundant and driven to the periphery, whereas religion is a very powerful force which can help in making man realize his full potential, as is given in the Holy Quran, that more than one-sixth of the Holy Quran devotes itself to exhorting mankind to reflect, to think, and to carry out explorations in the scientific field so that they understand the marvels of creation. Now, New World Order is something which some of the nations of the world are working towards, but God has His own plans, and the plans of God will materialize when the time for it is so ordained. But in the New World Order, Christ will emerge, and at the same time, Imam Mahdi will also appear, and then the world will be put into a new world order as conceived by God Almighty and not as conceived by man. So this is about all. Thank you very much. And the Dajjal is that force which tries to exercise its own powers. It is one-eyed, and it wants to carry out what it conceives is correct. But God has His own plans. So that is about all. Thank you very much. God bless you.